Hello guys, I'm Futureal. I stream 5 days a week over on twitch.tv/Futureal, and in this video we are coming in with the 7th and the last episode of the best series from Diablo 2 Resurrected. This is my personal view on what is the best magic finding build for all 7 characters in the game, both on players 8 and on players 1. There is a chance that there will be some more videos coming out in this series afterwards, because there are some builds that are basically identical to what I made as being the best. A good example is the Blizzard Sorceress that I prefer, and also the Lightning Sorceress, which is a very, very strong build. And there are some others that could also be interesting. We can maybe do Uber builds. But for now, this is going to be the last episode, and this is, of course, the Druid. What's interesting with the Druid is that on players 8, it's the Wind Druid that is the strongest build. Really trying to get anything going with Fury, with Bear, or with Fire doesn't really work. The damage is too low, he's too clunky. So even if Wind is quite slow, it's the best we can do, and that's what I'm going to showcase for you here. The players 1 build is, maybe surprisingly, the Fire Druid, and I hope you're going to like the video. If you do, leave me a subscription and a comment down below, and until the next video, take care, and I will see you then. Okay guys, it is time for the Druid, and we're going to start with the players 8 Druid. This is a build that many of you will be familiar with. This is the Wind Druid. I'm going to start with a Mercenary. Mercenary is, of course, running a Ethereal Reaper's Toll. This is the only thing. It's the only thing that he can wear realistically. It's the only way you can really go to war with physical immune monsters and stone skin monsters. There is no alternative in my mind to the Reaper's Toll on players 8, and since this is a Thresher, and the Mercenary's sole purpose is to give you the Crepify as often as possible, you need to go for the 75 attack speed breakpoint for your Mercenary. The only way to do that efficiently, in my mind, and also have the cannot be frozen, is with Akira's. So you would put an EDIS jewel in your Reapers, alternatively a Shale Rune if you're on a budget. You would put a 15 IS jewel in Akira's if you're on a budget, and then with ED if you are a rich bitch, depending, and then that is 30 IS and completed with Treachery for the 75 breakpoint. This is also going to give him fantastic survivability from the Fade, and the fact that he can leech really, really fast with this attack speed. He's not going to do amazing damage. He will do some damage, but because he is not running Fortitude, his damage will be quite low compared, although he is only there to give you the Crepify. That is his sole purpose in the world. The character is, of course, running CTA with a buffing Spirit. We have a 40 Heart of the Oak, we have a Dusk Enigma, 35 Spirit, we have a 219 Druid Amulet. This is it's a pretty terrible amulet, honestly, outside of the 219, but that's what we need, and this is what we have. I haven't really been able to find anything else. It's very, very hard to get a 218 or higher for this build for the Druid, with also good secondary stats like Magic Find, Strength, Res, those kinds of things. So this is the best we have. That's what we go for. 220 Circlet. This one is a little bit better. It has 15 Strength and it has 19 all Res. It does have Life Leech and Enhanced Defense, which is not great, but 4 out of 6 I would say is more than acceptable for this Circlet. And we put an Istrun in there for the Magic Find. Triangles, of course. FCR gloves with resist. We have a FCR ring over here with Fire Res and a little bit of Magic Find. We obviously have the Arachnids. We have the SOJ for the damage, and then the Tri-Res Magic Find boots that you possibly have seen before on other characters. The inventory is obviously the Torch and the Annihilus, 7 MFers with some resistances, And we have skillers with one with FHR, and we have a couple with a little bit of life. And then we are capping it off with a 40 Magic Find Geats. He's running, of course, at the 163 breakpoint. Our damage is going to be just north of 6,000 with Tornado, and around 3k with Hurricane when we have buffed up. There's one thing I want to say that I find, I don't know, kind of discouraging about this character. Even the gear that I showed you now, as you're going to find out in a couple of minutes, this is probably the worst character at Players 8 in the game. I think that the Whirlwind Barb is actually going to outperform this character because of how terrible the Tornado pathing is. You need to telestomp a lot. It puts you at high risk, even if you have a bear, an Oak Sage, and a Mercenary. But this is as good as we can make it. I will show you how this works. We're going to do a P8 pit run really quickly. And then you can judge for yourself if this is a build that you would want to try. Personally, I do like this build a lot. I just wish that it had a little bit more damage. Okay, Players 8 is what we're going to go for here. We buff up, summon your creatures, buff up again. There we go, and far teleporting. See if we can find this. The entrance is a bit away, but you can see he has pretty nice movement speed at the 163. This is Players 8, as I said. So you know, you still get experience from these guys here until you are level 98. It's actually feasible to level all the way to level 98 in ancient tunnels or in the pits, depending on where you want to be. What's very important with this build, I'm killing everything here just to show you how it works, to show you kind of like the method you would use, and it's a lot of telestomping. Telestomping to be able to force the Tornado to hit the target is what you have to do. So you have to teleport on top of the targets. So basically, you target the unit you want to kill and teleport straight on top of it. That's how you ensure that the Hurricane and the Tornado will always hit. That's a man catcher. Hammer. So as you can see, if you compare this to the current Druid that I have on my Holy Grail, this is quite a bit faster. You can see that this is quite a bit faster than the Druid I am currently running. And you know, it's the best you can do if you are running this build and you want to level this character to a high level. I do recommend to do that in the pits. Bale runs is... it's not going to be amazing. You can do seal runs in Chaos. I will show you how that works after this run right here. It's quite simple. I've been doing it a lot on my stream because Chaos is on average a better place to find high runes when you're seal popping as well, in addition to doing the seals. So I will show you a quick seal pop on this character as well. On players, we're going to do player 7. That's probably what you want to do when you're in Chaos, because it is quite a tough area. We have some stuff dropping here. Yeah, so we just ran out of the buff here. Probably could have done this dungeon a little bit faster. or we simply could have had a better map. Oh, that was actually an elite. There we go, Eldritch Orb. And we are done. Not too bad. Not. So let's go take a look at Chaos. We're gonna do that on player 7, as I mentioned, and we're gonna do a seal pop. I have explained this method many times before, how you're supposed to do it, but I can do it as I am doing the run as well. So what you want to do is teleport as fast as you can to Grand Vizier. I like to do this on the Grand Vizier side. You can do it on the Infector side if you wish. So you just open both the seals as soon as we have cleared out a little bit here, and you can see the damage here is not exactly amazing. And this is kind of a little bit of the issue with this character. This you would have deleted with a sorceress in a matter of seconds. This guy's gonna drop off the map here, but that's not a big deal. So, okay, so we killed that guy. Onto the Sace. Be careful so you don't get overrun here if they're extra fast. And just clear them out as quick as you can. Then telestomp the Sace and murder him. And get out of there. So for the last seal, you do not want to click the seal on this side. Leave this seal alone. Open this one. And Infector and his units will come to you. And now you just try to kite these backwards so they kind of like line up in a way. If they're in a line, it's easier for you to DPS them down. You see, it's not that bad. So now we're gonna do a seal pop as soon as Infector dies here. You can telestomp him when there's just a few of them left. There we go. Is out. Okay, so let's go to the start of the dungeon. Here we are. Now we have 6 seconds to get back and click the last seal. And that we did perfectly. We set players 3. Actually, I can show you how player 7 looks. Player 7 Diablo 2. With 163. With pretty much the strongest gear you can get. Let's quickly check the loot. So all this loot right here is dropped because we did the seal pop. And you see here, all this loot, I didn't kill any of this. This is killed by the seal itself. We even got a unique. And yeah, that was it. Nothing amazing, but this is a very, very solid way of farming high roots. And you see here, this is the damage. We don't even have decrep. So you see, now we have decrep. The damage is pretty alright. This is player 7 Diablo. Obviously lacking a bit compared to other classes. Nothing amazing, but that was the run. Those are, in my opinion, the 2 places where you want to gain experience on the Druid. I think that Bale runs is very, very bad. It takes a long time to wait between the waves. The physical damage is quite bad against those high health enemies. So in my opinion, stick to the pits or to Chaos if you want to level your Druid using the 2 methods that I showed you. Alright, we have just shown you guys how to play this character at a high level, where you want to be if you want to level. So let me just quickly share the build that I like playing. The Wind build is quite generic. There is no surprises in this build. It's basically you maximize. This is 81 points. So you have max Hurricane, Tornado, Twister, and Cyclone armor because they are all synergies from each other. We have nothing in shape, and in summoning I have 1 point in Grizzly. I max the Oak Sage, and then after you have maxed the Oak Sage, you can put points in 1 point in Solar Creeper if you want to. So basically you would put 1 in everything. then 1 in Solar Creeper, and then dump in Oak Sage until you have used all your points. Or you can completely ignore the Creepers, max the Oak Sage, and then dump the rest of the points in Grizzly. So that's what I have chose to do here. You can see I have 19 points, so I have base 2, which is shown here, there, right by my ear. Base 2 points. This is the way that I like to play the Wind Druid. It's a very, very fun build. It's a very interesting build. I just wish it was a little bit stronger. Now, on to the P1 build. Alright guys, it's time to show you the Fire Druid. This is the player's one unique item farming build. In my opinion, this is the best build for farming high-level unique items. So basically you would play this character the same way you would play a Lightning Sorceress on P1 in the pits, the same way you would play a Blizzard Sorceress in the Ancient Tunnels, and the same way you would play a Berserker Barb in the pits on Players 1. You would only hunt elites and champions, and then move on to the next pack. There are, of course, big differences in the gear from the Wind Druid, and we are going to take a look at that now. Mainly, of course, it is the Infinity. And we have it in the Cryptic Axe, of course, the best base for Infinity if you play at 35 attack speed in this Andariel's Visage. So this Andes has a attack speed and fire resist dual inside it. And combined with Fortitude, this is the highest damage output you can have for an Infinity Mercenary. On the swap, we have the same as before, of course. We have the Call to Arms and the Spirit, and the gear is almost the same, but it has a couple of distinguished differences. Mainly, it is the Raven Lore. The Raven Lore has -20 to enemy fire res, and it has 23 all resistances. This is very, very nice. And it is potentially a key part of this build. You can get away with using a Shaco here if you don't have a Raven Lore, but I absolutely recommend using Raven Lore for this build. It is the Dusk Enigma. We have the same 219 Amulet, and we have swapped to the Fabled Phoenix. So this is the Phoenix Monarch. This one didn't roll that amazingly, but the ED is irrelevant for this character. So this is basically -28 fire res on any target, increased maximum resistances, and we have Redemption Aura. Redemption Aura is very nice. It's basically going to allow you to not have to use mana potions unless you get mana burned, which is... it's substantial because it helps you have a high efficiency on your farming route. Obviously, Mage Fist instead of Trangul. This is +1 to fire skills, which is, you know, it's directly gonna boost your Fissure and Armageddon, which is your main damage outputs. We have a 30 Nagel. We have 1 SOJ. You can swap these around as you wish. If you feel like you need more damage, go with another SOJ or a BK. If you want more Magic Find, you can take another 30 Nagel. We have the Arox, and then we have a pair of 50 War Traps. Inventory is the same, the Torch, Annihilus, and Geeds, and then we have filled up with 7 MF Small Charms. We are at the 9099 faster cast rate. This is not a 163 build. You cannot reach 163 if you have both Phoenix and Raven Lore. If you were to skip the Raven Lore, there is a way you can do it with, like, I think it is at least, if you go for Suicide Branch. So you can get 70, 89, 99, 109, 129, 39. No, you can't actually get it if you have a Phoenix. You would have to go back to Spirit here to make that work. Then you can do it, but not with using Phoenix. So we're going for the 99 breakpoint. You see our damage, Armageddon damage, is about 10k. They're probably going to be over 10k when we have buffed up. Firestorm 4.5, and we have 3.5, I would say, with Fissure when we have buffed up. And we have about 180 all res here. So let's head over to Ancient Tunnels, which is the area for this character to farm, and we will see how this goes. Now, I want to mention that I'm not very experienced with this build. This is the build that I will end up playing on my own Druid-only Holy Grail project that I'm doing now. But as is now, I have only played this build for a couple of hours, and there probably are some tweaks and kinks that I can iron out. And I suggest you, if you want to play this build, definitely research what is the correct way of playing this character. Because basically at the moment, I am learning to play this character as we speak. So, you saw me buff up, we can cast another time there, and then we cast Armageddon. What you want to do here is cast Armageddon and immediately head off in here and be able to clear this dungeon for elites. Now, these are not even elites, but you want to be able to clear this dungeon from elites by the time Armageddon runs out. So as you can see, this it works pretty well over here. All the minions are dead. This map is absolutely horrendous, of course. But you can see that the speed of this character with the incredible fire damage is quite high. And that was it. That is the run. And the Armageddon ran out here. We had one teleport missing. There wasn't even a pack here for the Armageddon to hit when it ran out. So this is a very, very quick run. And this character can get amazing efficiency if you just learn how to position yourself, learn to trust in your mercenary to soak up hits, and put the fissure on the elites. Very, very important. I'm gonna do one more run in real time, where I don't talk. I'm just gonna exit game and go, and you guys can see how fast it is, and you can make an opinion on your own how strong you think this character can be. But I still think that it's faster. I don't bother to cast that with the necessarily highest DPS weapons. Okay, he's down. There, where's the elite? Okay, there he is. No elites back here. Crossing over. Checking this place. No elites. This is a terrible map, by the way. I just want to say that up front. No elites. Here we have 2 packs of elites. And we're done. Okay. How long did that take? That was a full Ancient Tunnel run in a bad map. Okay, so the build that you have just seen, obviously we have talked about the mercenary, but the actual talents are quite similar as the previous build, except that we put only 1 point in Sage and 1 point in Bear in this build, because it's a player's 1 build, and you want speed over anything else. No points in Shape. You put 1 in everything here to enable Armageddon. You max Firestorm, Fissure, Volcano, and Armageddon, and whatever remaining points you have, you dump that into Molten Boulder. This is because the main damage spell you have is Fissure, and that only has synergies with Firestorm and Volcano. So by leaving the Molten Boulder for last, it only affects the Armageddon damage. And the Armageddon damage, to be fair, is quite high anyway. You will probably one-shot anything with Armageddon in Ancient Tunnels on Players 1. So that's the build. check it out. I do enjoy this build quite a lot. This guy is running 436 Magic Find. And I think you can very, very safely drop this SOJ for more Magic Find. You can even potentially test it out if you can drop the Ravenlord for a Shaco and get 50 more. So that would actually push this build north of 500 Magic Find. Because as you can see, the fire damage when you combine all the plus skills in this build with Infinity on your Mercenary and with Phoenix, it does an incredible amount of damage. I would say that one hit from the Armageddon here, the targets are probably at negative 100 fire res. So this would hit the target for 20,000 damage, 20,000 fire damage. So I think that if you are interested in playing this build, definitely experiment with more, like maybe with one more SOJ here, go with 2 Najols, and even with the Shaco, with the Istrun instead of the Ravenlord. Definitely recommend you to check out this build. This build is a lot better than the impression people have with runes. With the Druid. Because most people's experience with the Druid is the Wind Druid. And the Wind Druid is deceptively slow. He's very slow because of his physical damage and the low teleport frames. The strength of this character is players 1, hunt the elites, very, very high damage. And even if his teleport frames aren't that good, he makes up for it in the absolute incredible damage. So please check out this build. If you did enjoy this guide, hit me up with a subscription and a like, and leave your comments down below. Until the next guide, take care, and I will see you guys then.